So we are given 6 equations from number 1. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay? You're going to tell me which part of the equation represents, what does M stand for? Yes, slope. And which part of the equation represents the, what's B? Y-intercept. Remember, it might not necessarily be written in the order y equals mx plus b, but we need to note that m is the number in front of x. It's the coefficient of x. Whichever number is attached to the variable x is the slope. And b is the constant term. It's the number that's just written by itself with no variable next to it, okay? So let's look at number 1. 1a. Can someone tell me what is the equation for a? Yes. Okay, so the equation is y equals negative 3x plus 5. So raise your hand if you can tell me which part of that equation represents the slope, or the m. Yes, the slope is negative 3. You have to include the negative. This line is going to fall to the right. What is the y-intercept of equation A? 5. Positive 5. So look here, please. We're going to figure out which graph would represent that. What that means is that the line has a y-intercept of 5. So let's look at number 1. Does this line intercept the y-axis at 5? Yes or no? Here's the line. Is that intercepting the y-axis at 5? No. Is number 2 intercepting the y-axis at positive 5? Is number 3 intercepting the y-axis at positive 5? Yes. Does everyone see that? That's the only graph here that has a y-intercept of positive 5. The slope is negative 3. Is this line falling to the right? Is it a negative slope?
Yes.
Yes. So the answer for 1A is 3. Okay? A, and we'll put, you know what, I'm going to write A here. This is line A. Y equals negative 3x plus 5. For question B, the equation is y equals 7x minus 4. Raise your hand if you can tell me the slope of B. 7x minus 4. What's the slope? 7. And what's the y-intercept? Negative 4. Good. C. Y equals 5 over 8x. What's the slope?
5 over 8.
5 over 8. And what's the y-intercept?
0.
0. So where does this graph pass through? The origin. Question D. Good. Negative 1 over 4. And what's the y-intercept? Negative 4. Perfect. Anyone get E? If the equation is x equals 5, what kind of line is this? What's the slope? The slope of a vertical line is undefined. You cannot define the slope because there is no run. There's only a rise. Is there a y-intercept if it's a vertical line?
Yes.
No. It does not pass through the y-axis. So none. Not 0, you say none. Okay? Which graph shows the vertical line? Yes, this one. Okay, this is the vertical line. It does not pass through the y-axis at all. It's vertical. Okay? What about for the horizontal line? What's the slope of any horizontal line? 0, yes. What's the y-intercept if the equation is y equals 3? Where's the y-intercept, Arcel? Where's the y-intercept? 3. Right here. This is the only horizontal line. Does it pass through the y-axis? Yes, of course it does. The y-intercept is the number by itself, 3. The constant term. So this would be F. Okay, what line is this? Which line is this? A, B, C, D, E, F. Emmanuel said D. Let's check. Yes, because the y-intercept is at -4. Good, this would be D. And what would this line be? We already did that one. F. Oops, I wrote it in the wrong one. This is supposed to be F, sorry. Horizontal. What is the equation of this line? Right here. What's the equation of this line? Which one do I match that with? Which equation? Yes, C is the only graph that passes through the origin. The y-intercept's 0. And the last one, what is the equation of this line? B is correct. Y equals the y-intercept's -4, and the slope is +7. Good. Now, this graph, D and B, had the same y-intercept, but one of them was negative and one of them was positive, okay?